Good question. Let me answer that for you.
Here we go.
Okay, have you heard of the leapfrog, like digital leapfrog? So let me explain what this is. So the United States, well, if you go back to the Industrial Revolution, each country industrialized at different rates.
That's right.
So Europe industrialized first, added machines, right, in the late 1700s. And then the next country, the next country, the next country. Each country that industrialized after, it happened faster.
That's right.
Because they were able to build off of the lessons of the previous country. So the first country takes 100 years. The last country takes 5 years, right? That's how it happens. But also because of the leapfrog. And so like in the United States, for example, we had wireless phones. It took about 80 years to reach 80% adoption in wired phone lines. We had phone lines all over the United States. So when the internet came, the internet grew very rapidly in the United States because we had wired phone lines. And of course, if you're old enough to remember, the early days of getting on the internet, it was through your phone, right? Remember the noise that I made? But in Africa, they didn't have the whole country wired.
Watch what happened in Africa.
So they couldn't have internet because they didn't have the phone line everywhere. So what they did is when the US got wireless, Africa just leapfrogged past the whole wired thing and went directly to wireless internet.
Watch this.
That's what we're talking about with the leapfrog. It was a wireless moment, and that's exactly where we are in the monetary system. So remember, the bonds and the correspondent banks and the SWIFT system and all of that, that's the wired phone system. But what if we just leapfrogged right past that with a new system? And that's what we have. It's called Project Bridge. This is brought by the BIS. Now, I've drawn this before. If we have all the central banks.
Again, you said BIS. What does it stand for those who just came in? BIS stands for Bank for International Settlements. It is the bank for the central banks. The most powerful banking system in the world. Here we go. Let's keep going, y'all. Man.
Banks, the U.S. Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of China, etc. Up here, we kind of have the IMF.
Y'all know them.
And then up here, we have the BIS.
BIS.
Okay?
Here they go.
So the BIS and China have just created something called Project Bridge, which is the leapfrog.
Wow.
But let's jump right to the BIS website and take a look at this. So this is a screenshot directly from the BIS website, Project Bridge, connecting economies through a CBDC. Yes, that's a central bank digital currency. Yes, the thing that you fear the most, it's here. The central bank digital currency. What we have, let's pull up a little bit of text directly off of the BIS website, directly in their own words. It says right here that payment systems underpinning cross-border financial flows has not kept pace with rapid growth. So the payment systems underpinning cross-border flows, what is that? That would be the existing system. The SWIFT payment system, the correspondent banks, the thing that's keeping the US dollar entrenched per the dollar bulls. That system, it doesn't keep up, hasn't kept pace with rapid growth. The global network of correspondent banks, there's that word, that facilitates international payments is hindered by high cost, low speed, and transparency, and operational complexities. It's way too complex. And it's way too risky because, you know, the US could just censor us, shut us off, sanction us at any time. Emerging market and developing economies need affordable access to the global financial system. They can't afford to pay these crazy fees to this old antiquated system of the correspondent banks and the SWIFT system. We can't afford to do that anymore. We need something better. So now we need multiple CBDCs, multi-central bank digital currencies, arrangements that directly connect with each other, offering significant potential to improve the current system. Creative destruction. When a new way is created, it kills the old way. The BIS, Bank of International Settlements, Innovation Hub, Hong Kong Center. So Hong Kong is the financial center of Asia and kind of the world, which is of course owned and controlled by China. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
There they go again.
Other Asian banks as well. And of course the People's Bank of China, PBOC. The Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Of course, the energy hub of the world, are working together to build such a multi-CBDC platform known as Project Bridge.
Oh man,
there you have it. It's directly.
They are they trying to sidestep the whole SWIFT system, because in what they said, it's too complex, it's too risky because the U.S. could just say, we're gonna cut you off. Now we need to have multiple central digital currencies, right? We need to have that multiple of those platforms interlink into one to sidestep the SWIFT system. This BRICS thing is real, y'all. Here we go.
Off of their website. So what this is just like how Africa was able to jump into wireless internet without having to build the wires first like the US did. Well, China is now bypassing the entire financial system, not by trying to rebuild or duplicate the old archaic system that doesn't work. No, they're building a brand new system to bypass or leapfrog over it. And that is the mBridge. It's a cross-bridge CBDC platform that does three purposes that align perfectly with China's mission and vision. So what are those? First, to block. It prevents them from being blocked by US sanctions and surveillance. So now they can move.
Wait a minute, that's a threat right there to the US dollar, right? And the sanctions. Here we go.
Move money around without the US seeing what they're doing or having the ability to sanction them like what happened to Russia. It builds non-USD rails. So the rails is the way the money moves. Now they can move it in a whole new system without having to use the US dollar. And they can do that with their key partners. Key partners like UAE for energy. Key partners.
BRICS.
It expands their offshore liquidity for their own currency. And it builds massive influence for their geo-economic sphere, for the countries that they want to do business with. They have massive influence now because they're expanding their liquidity into this new system. So it kind of looks something like this,
look what it looks like,
where each country has here's Thailand, or here's China, Hong Kong, etc., UAE. And their banks work through and they all come in here and then they swap and they go back out. It's the bridge. This is the hub where they do the exchange. And we can see, here's like another, these are screenshots directly off the BIS website. And so you can kind of see all the commercial banks send it to the central bank, and then the central banks can exchange amongst themselves and then push it right back out to the commercial banks. And then of course you and I, we'd be all the way out here. Now, this is something that's been underworked for a while. We can see the timeline here started back in 2000.
Quick question, that right there, guys, that completely kind of usurps the dollar. Here's the question. Have they tested this out? Let's find out and see.
17, it's been advancing all the way till 2022, where it was successfully conducted using real value transactions. Meaning this is no more in theory or in design. It's actually out. It's been tested. It's been proven. And it works. So it's time to face the uncomfortable reality. The uncomfortable reality is that the world is changing.
It is.
What we know as money is changing. And the world of control and money of the US dollar is also changing. All right. And it's not going to happen sometime in the future. It's here right now. If you're looking at the world from a geo-economic, a geopolitical lens, if you're looking at the world as a game board, you want to understand who the players are and what their moves are. And anybody that looks at that has to recognize that this is underway.
It is.
The users of this, I do want to say the users of this as of right now, it's not the time to go be scared and hide in your house. The users of this right now are central banks, commercial banks, as I just drew out, and even state banks. It's not designed yet for a retail CBDC, not yet. Phase one, let's get it working between the banks. Phase two, we can try to put out to the individual people. But this is coming, the dollar's days are coming to an end. Now, when I say coming into an end, like I said, the dollar took over from the pound sterling 100 years ago. It's still the third most used currency today. Some people are gonna watch this and go, oh my gosh, Mark, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna wake up one day and my dollars will buy me half as many goods and services? They already do. The dollar already buys you half as much as it did a few years ago. And so yes, that will continue. The dollar will continue to lose its dominance. One of the big things is that as the dollar loses its dominance, then the inflation that the US is able to ship off to the rest of the world will come home to roost. So we can expect a lot more inflation from us as it sets in. Long live the king.